what are our priorities? What should we be doing as a people? Is our condition of life defined by white American racism and police brutality? We hear this all day, every day. A bunch of middle-class blacks from our universities are leading demonstrations and saying that the problems that we're facing is primarily caused by white people. Stop. That is not our problem. Racial discrimination may be a problem, but is not the most critical problems that we're facing today. If that were the case, between 1930 and 1940, when racial discrimination was embedded in law, when we had no black political figures, when we had no people in law enforcement, the family formation rate, or marriage rate in black community was higher than it was in the white community. Elderly people, elderly black people could walk in places like Southeast Washington and other low-income black neighborhoods without fear of being mugged by their grandchildren. And so conditions of race have never defined us as a people.
What's going on, everyone? It's Talks with Kenny here today, and here's why I don't stress about white privilege, okay? The actions of other people has almost no effect on what goes on in my life. People's opinions don't matter to me. Like this is Stoic saying, and I'm probably able to pop it up over here if I can find it. If not, I'll try to say it. I should try to do it justice. Is that we worry more about the opinions of strangers than our own. And that's what I worry about, my own opinion about things. This is why when these people come into my comment section calling me an Uncle Ruckus, sell out, all this stuff, I'm like, you don't know nothing about me. You don't know nothing about my life. Because if you were to compare my life to most black men, they don't even compare. I know that for sure. The average income for a black man is like, what, 33K? I don't remember. Someone could probably correct me in the comment section. I make way more money than that. So I know the average black man don't have my life. So I wouldn't even expect them to understand the mindset or the mentality that I have towards life. Because at the end of the day, racism exists at a personal level. I can admit that to you. Yes, racism does exist, but that's the only application which racism can be enacted on. If there was a white woman and she said she don't date black men, and if you consider that racist instead of her preferences, hey, that's your business. But it doesn't have no effect on me. Now, if she act on it saying, we should castrate all black men because they don't deserve to reproduce, that's another thing. She's actually doing a crime there. That's a hate crime. And then we should address it as we should. But all I care about is how I respond to things. I don't care, because at the end of the day, I don't worry about things that I can't control. Right? Here's another Stoic saying for you guys. And these are the kind of principles and quotes that I tell myself and that I'm going to teach my kids going forward, because like Frederick Douglass said, he's a very prominent figure for a reason. I look up to that man for a reason. It's better to raise strong children than to fix broken people. And that's where I decided to put my time. Like, I'm done apologizing. I'm done trying to explain myself for the positions that I have. Right? Because these people walk into my comment section expecting me to just be oppressed. And here's my argument towards white privilege. If its power is solely dictated, whether I believe it or not, does it objectively have power? It doesn't. To me, it doesn't. Because if I don't believe you have any privilege and I believe I'm just as capable as you, what's there to stop me? You can't point to a law that says, only when white people get a bank account, they get an extra $500. No. Because my whole perspective about government is different from the average black American, right? To me, the government is a referee. All I care about is, hey, you apply the rules equally. That's all I care about. And any discrepancy against your application of the rules, I'm going to have a problem with. Right? Oh, you giving out bail? He committed a crime. He shouldn't be given special treatment. He already broke the law. He should be punished. He should get a consequence. Oh, it disproportionately affect black people. No. Black people disproportionately commit more crimes. That's how I observe it. That's how I see it. And that's not white privilege. That's what black people are doing. And here's another clip from Robert Woodson. And it's a shame that we don't know much, like a lot more people don't know who this man is. And this is why I take this opportunity to highlight him in this video. Let's take a look about his thoughts about it. Because at the end of the day, if you want power, if you want authority, black people, then you must accept responsibility as well, because there's no such thing as having authority over something without responsibility. Let's take a look from Robert Woodson, and I'll give my final thoughts at the end of this clip. Let's take a look.
Is that it is important to recognize that the destiny of black people is not determined by what white people do or do not do. It is in our own hands. White people are not in our communities mugging one another. White people are not in our community. It is our values that determine our condition in life, not what some oppressor has done. For instance, there's a lot about Frederick Douglass. He was a slave, born a slave. At 16 years old, he was beaten by his slave master every week. He said he had whelps on his back as large as his fingers. And yet Frederick Douglass said, even faced with those kind of conditions, he was a man that became a slave, but his condition changed when that slave became a man, which means that even under oppressive conditions like that, it's your own attitude and values determine what you do with those conditions.
And I wholeheartedly agree. Tell me to lie. That's the reality, black community or any community, even America, right? We complain about the deep state, the bureaucracy, but end of the day, who elected them? Americans did. Okay, black people go to jail. Who did it? Who did the crime? Did the black people do a crime? Yes, they did. Okay, they broke the law. Okay, that's being part of society. That's the trade-off of being part of society. You don't live in a vacuum, so you have to abide by rules. If you're playing a game, right, let's say basketball, and you traveled, you must accept that you traveled and deal with the consequences of that. You turn over the ball. But black people want to sit there, travel, say, "Oh, you're only calling a foul because I'm black." That's how the black people are operating nowadays. This is why I don't stress about this nonsense of black white privilege. This is some form of black fragility in a way. Black people, when we become so mentally fragile that we care about the approval of other people instead of caring about, hey, what we can actually fix, what we can actually change. It's all behavior, not your race. And I can give another historical example. The Irish people are the perfect example of this. Irish people were going through the same situation, similar situation to what black people are going through. They were discriminated against because they're Irish. White people didn't want to hire them because they were Irish. They had high crime rates in their community as well. But the Irish did something differently than what the black people are doing. The Irish people finally said, look back and decided, hey, it's us. We're doing this. We're causing more crimes. We're having these people not respect us. Let's fix our attitude towards our environment. Let's adapt. Let's actually play the game the right way, right? That's what their coach will tell you. And guess what? Irish people are now indistinguishable from white Americans because they're like, oh, now we're going to go get our education. Hey, we're going to clean up how we present ourselves, right? They worried about things they had control over because that's what has the most impact on your life, regardless. You may not choose what happens to you, but you choose how you respond. You only have power over your own mind, not outside events. Know this and you will have strength. And that's what the Irish people decided to do. And now look at them. They're just as successful as any other group in America, any other ethnic group in America. Black immigrants are doing the same thing. My parents are doing the same thing. In one generation, I changed my family's life. I'm a homeowner, married, 2 kids. Like, one generation that happened for my family. And you people who are descendant of slaves, so-called slaves, right? You guys have been here for generations on generations on generations, and y'all still haven't figured out the playbook. Y'all still haven't figured out the rules of the game. My people suffer from a lack of knowledge, and I believe that's the number one issue in the black community. Because the black community is miseducated. Some of y'all don't even know black history like that. Y'all only know the pigeonholed, memory hold version of the black history. You only know the revisionist history of 1619. Oh, America was founded in 1619. No, it wasn't. It was founded in 1776. We were founded on the Constitution. When the Constitution was written, it wasn't 1619. The settlers came from 1619. And I can have an argument. Technically, we were a British colony in 1619. So your reparations argument is technically for Britain, not for America. But hey, I digress. But this is the kind of games that people play because they want an alibi for their failures. And they don't want to accept that it's me. It's us. It's our community. It's our culture. Our culture adopted bad values and we act on those bad values. And then we get the outcome that we have today. Single motherhood. Because he pointed out in 1930s, 1940s, we faced more racism than today. Yet black people were married more than whites at the time. Crime was low. Safe neighborhoods, good values. Now look at our community. Materialistic, no discipline whatsoever from the men and the women. The women want to spend money. This is why they have higher eviction rates than other groups of women. Men out here, no sexual discipline, have kids all over the place, getting wrapped up in welfare and all this stuff. Dependent. Because if you're dependent on somebody, they have authority over you. That's the rules of the game. That's the game of power. And a community who don't understand this is doomed to be taken advantage of. This is why the black community are political chumps. I'm gonna say it. Yes, Black America is political chumps because they don't understand. They have no leverage because they're not willing to leave. If you can't walk away from somebody, they have power over you. If you can't walk away from the Democratic Party, they have power over you. If they tell you, if they still can dictate, oh, you shouldn't vote Republican, they're the worst option. Of course, a Democrat will say that. That's how black people should think, but they don't. They don't. And then when I say, oh, Democrats playing attention in politics with you, Democrats see they see themselves as your massa, saying like, oh, don't go over there, don't run from the fence, don't be free from the fence. There's nothing out there for you. You'll die if you go past the fence. That's what the Democrat Party tell black people, and that's why I don't vote Republican. That's the real reason. It's not because Democrat Party are the lesser of two evils. Because if you look out throughout the whole history of the Democrat Party, they're the main ones responsible for the bad outcomes you get as a community, Black America. But hey, what I know, I'm just a black conservative. I don't know what I'm talking about, right? All I have is a different perspective, and that's what I'm giving it to you in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Let me know your thoughts. I want to hear it. You agree, disagree? Tell me why. I'll be glad to hear it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I really do appreciate you guys for watching to the end of the video, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.